You first. This is KIMT Storm Team 3. Weather coverage you can count on.
Welcome back, my friends. It is a tricky Tuesday here, just as Monday was. We've been tracking this system that's brought not just snow, but rain and some sleet. It's kept a lot of us wet here as we've come into closer to the midweek. And guess what? There's more on the way. But first, let's take a peek right now over Rochester. Easy to see that there are some flakes coming down, a little rain mixed in, as well as temperatures just above the freezing point. But not much of it is sticking on the ground. That's not a surprise. Almost as immediate as it hits, it melts away. Meanwhile, it's a little quieter in Mason City. We're still seeing plenty of the darker clouds, though, indicating that moisture is still definitely there, but the chances for any of it coming out of the sky is a little less in Mason City than places like Rochester and even closer to the Mississippi. Temperature-wise, Mason City is a little higher, above that freezing point, sitting at 36. It's a tad bit windier, though. Meanwhile, Rochester, as I mentioned, just above the freezing point of 32. Mason City just warming up to 37 now. At 33 degrees, that is why we're seeing this mixed precipitation. Now in Austin, Albert Lee currently sitting at 36. Also seeing something similar, but the chances a little lighter. Again, as you get a little further on towards 35 and ultimately further west, you're going to see less chances for this precipitation coming down. Now when we move over to road conditions, it's very clear to see where a lot of that is beginning to, I'd say, pile up. Just a little bit slush on the roadways, a tiny bit of ice. You can see portions of southern Minnesota and North Iowa heading into Wisconsin for sure. Wisconsin's been getting hit very hard. Those blue roads indicating partially covered. Now we move over to satellite and radar, and we can generally lay it on top and see where most of this snow is falling. Meanwhile, a lot of us once again kind of looking at that wintry mixture in places like Mason City, further to the west, not much going on. The problem is we're part of a much bigger system that's influencing not just our weather here in the upper Midwest, but further to the south. Been seeing a lot of severe weather there and even further east. This is spinning, and it's spinning slowly, and we are caught in the cold sector of that spin, and you're going to see it right here on Sky Tracker 3. So I pushed time to about 5 p.m., looking like maybe it's going away. Not quite. That spiral continues, and by Wednesday, as we officially kick it off, some of us still seeing snowfall. Some of us still seeing snow as we enter into the morning commute on Wednesday. Most of this activity, if not all of it, will stay east of I-35. Here we are 10 a.m. on Wednesday, still stuck in the spiral. Very strong winds coming in from the north as well. By 3 p.m., it's looking like maybe, and then a little short burst comes through. We're not done with the snow quite yet, and it's illustrated right here as we enter officially into our Wednesday. Temperatures once again very similar to where they are right now, especially in places like Rochester, and we see that chance for some snow. So how much snow are we looking at? Most of us a trace to 2 inches, but the further you go into Wisconsin, that's where you're going to find some very impressive totals. So heavy snow expected in southern and central Wisconsin. Here's just an outline for you. As we get into tonight, the winds will increase. The heavy snow will stay mainly in Wisconsin, and that red arrow is the one that we're more concerned about. Windy with snow east of I-35, a trace to 2 inches by the afternoon. The good news about this is, yes, it will be windy, Annalise, but the snow is going to be wet and heavy, not really blowing around everywhere, and it's also going to melt quickly as temperatures return to the 40s and 50s later this week.
All good to know. Thank you, Sarah.
So much too.
Looking ahead.